Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is the Divine Feminine 101. Merry Christmas everyone, and happy Hanukkah to my Jewish brothers and sisters. Hanukkah is a festival of light, also celebrated on the 25th of December. So happy Hanukkah everybody. Well, happy holidays to everybody. Today, we're coming towards the end of the year, and it's time to start making those New Year resolutions. So I was thinking to myself, sometimes we make resolutions and by January or February, we kind of forget about them. So I was looking at behavioral patterns and vices that we have that sometimes, sometimes we try to overcome, but because we don't have a deeper knowledge to what they mean or what they represent. So sometimes we just overlook it, so today we're going to be looking at the 7 deadly sins. The only reason why I thought this was quite important, because for instance, end of the year, so everybody goes, okay, so I want to stop smoking, I want to stop drinking, I want to stop taking caffeine. I am responsible. I'm one of those people. I take a lot of caffeine, so I want to stop this, I want to be more healthy, I want to work out a bit more, and sometimes like I said, after like a few weeks or a few months, if you're strong enough, we tend to just forget about everything. So we're looking at simple behavioral patterns and vices that we may have that sometimes may make us not take these things very seriously. And these are actually the 7 deadly sins. Little things about little behaviors, little vices we sometimes have. It's time where everybody is looking to be more responsible. 2020 was a year to be remembered all over the world, and my heart goes out to everybody that lost a loved one to the pandemic. My sincere condolences to all of you. So I think everybody's looking to be more responsible. So I'm looking at behavioral vices that sometimes we don't take very seriously, but they have deeper consequences in our lives and the lives of the people around us. So I just wanted us to look at this together, and you can drop your comments below and tell me how you feel about this. So anyway, here we go. So first of all, I hope you all remember the 7 deadly sins. We're talking about pride, greed, lust, and gluttony, and all those things. So I was thinking to break it down to the most simple terms possible, so we have a better understanding of what these things are. Everybody just says pride, and we don't know the consequences of having a prideful heart. Or everybody says gluttony, and we don't know the consequences sometimes, or we do know, but we don't take it very seriously. So I'm trying to break it down to very simple terms, so we have a better understanding. So stay tuned. Okay, all right. So we're going to be looking at pride first of all. So pride, a haughty mind, self-serving, self-reliant, self-sustaining. If you notice, I've only just mentioned self, which means pride does not recognize anybody, or even recognize its maker, which is God, because as far as pride is concerned, it's all about them. They're better than everybody. Pride stands on its soapbox and judges everybody like, oh, I'm better than you. And what pride misses are the little things in life. With a prideful heart, one cannot grow, because sometimes we learn from the littlest things. We can learn from children. From children, we can learn how to be so free-spirited and just be happy and not so much worry about anything. And when you're not so worried, you tend to attract more into your life. Pride misses that. We can learn from water. Water passes no judgment on anybody. We can learn humility from water. So pride misses all that. And what are the characters of pride? Pride compares. I'm sure you've actually heard of that saying, pride comes before a fall. Yeah, it's actually very true, because first of all, we'll look at the characters of pride. Pride compares all the time. What does that mean? It just, pride looks at every other person and compares, like, this person, what this person has, they're not deserving of it. I'm better than this person, so I should have what they have. That's what pride does. And that is so wrong, because what pride doesn't understand is that sometimes what makes pride feel, if you get that thing at that moment in time, it won't hurt them or harm them at that moment. So sometimes we want things and we don't get it when we want it, because maybe it may be hurtful to us or harmful to us at that moment. So pride doesn't get that. Pride just believes I'm better than everybody else, so whatever they have, I should have it instead, because I do more work. I turn up at work more early. I am more deserving of it. I'm smarter, or I'm prettier, or I'm more gorgeous, or I'm more intelligent, or I'm wiser, or something. And that's a prideful heart. So a prideful heart will always remain very small-minded and never ever grow. Pride does not grow because they refuse to learn, because they think they know better than everybody else. Pride is very defensive. That's another character of pride. Extremely defensive. You can't point out any flaws of pride. But however, they see other people's flaws very clearly. But you can't point out their flaws. You can tell them that, what you did, I think may be wrong, because pride cannot be wrong. They're better than everybody else, remember? So this behavior is something to look out for, because it stunts growth. If one can't accept or take responsibility for their actions, they can't grow. Pride cannot grow. They will remain very small-minded, forever small-minded. So you can't point out. I mean, some constructive criticisms can be born out of envy or hate. I get that. But some are actually just what it is, constructive criticisms. And sometimes it's always good to take a step back when somebody says, okay, this is something you may be doing wrong. Take a step back and have a look at it and, analyze it and see if maybe you can actually learn something from it, or pride can actually learn something from it. So anyway, pride is also self-obsessed. It's me, 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 me. This is what I have. This is what I don't have. This is what I can have. This is what I should have. Now, what's missing is that if you're in an attitude of gratitude, be grateful for what you have, and it's the only way to pull in more, or it's the fastest way to actually pull in more. First of all, you need to be grateful for what you have, but pride isn't. Pride just looks at what they have and they believe they should have more, or what other people have, they're more deserving of it. So that's pride. So if we're looking to grow in 2021, the most important thing to do away with is pride. And that's what makes this a deadly sin. So we're going to be looking at greed. Okay. So we're going to be looking at greed. Greed is an intense and selfish desire to have it all. They want what every other person has. That's greed. I mean, it's not just selfish desires for material wealth. It's not just for money. It can be attention. It can be gifts. It can be anything. It's just greed wants more and more and more of everything. We all pray to live very long, but what if? You never know. Nobody anticipated what happened this year. Nobody anticipated the pandemic. Nobody anticipated, people that lost their lives, may they rest in peace. They didn't anticipate it. So in my take, I would think the best way to live life is to enjoy every single moment of it and live simply. A simple life. You can't eat past a plate of food. You can't sleep on 2 beds. You can't live in 10 houses at once. So what's the greed about? What's the greed about? It doesn't make any sense. The way I say it, I don't believe I believe that not every disease can be diagnosed by doctors. There are some diseases that are actually spiritual diseases, like greed is a disease of the heart. And why do I say that? Greedy people can never be happy because they're never satisfied. So what's the point? Why go through life hoarding everything possible that you can hoard, and God forbid anything can happen at any moment? So why not just enjoy what you have? The simple things. Experiences, those are the most important things in life. Not all the cars. I can park like 50 cars, but I can only drive one in a day. You know, social media has, no offense, personally, I'm not a social media person. I don't even like social media so much, but not because of the social media concept itself, but sometimes, I mean, it drives a lot of people to become so greedy for attention, and that's where it irks me. Social media itself is actually a very good medium to reach out and connect to the world. It's beautiful, but it's so used in the wrong way, because people actually live their normal lives, you know, they ignore their everyday lives and literally live on social media. So it's Instagram celebrity, TikTok celebrity, or something. And some people get so carried away with this almost fakeness, because a lot of people believe everything they see on social media, and it's so wrong. It is so wrong. It's in my opinion, it's for connecting to the world. It's a medium to which you connect to, which is great. You send out information, you pass information. That's not to say don't have fun on social media. Of course, I look at a lot of comedies and I love it. There's so many channels that I watch on social media and I think is absolutely amazing. But what I refuse to do is let it take over my life. My relationships, friendships, those things are important to me. You know, you go for meetings now, or you go out to dinner parties and everybody's on their phone. Nobody's having conversations anymore. I'm a conversation person, so maybe I'm just different. Anyway, everybody calls me weird anyway, so so anyway, yeah, but I miss those days of having one-on-one conversations. I'm tired of saying hello to my friends on social media. I would rather see them, sit down, have lunch, have drinks, have a laugh like it used to be. Now, I'm going to use an example, and females, bear with me. I just feel like women use social media more than men. I know a lot of men are into social media as well, but I'm just going to say, for argument's sake, okay, so a young lady that works in customer service, and this is a classic example. You know, she's a customer service agent, and you know, so she goes to work, she posts some pictures, and she gets what, 3 likes, 5 likes. Maybe she looks really good and she gets like 15 likes. Okay, great. And then she saves up and goes to Dubai and starts to post her Dubai pictures, and she's getting what, 200 likes, 500 likes, 2,000 likes. Ooh, and it gets into her head. And next she wants to go to the States, which is not a bad thing if she can save up for it. Oh, well, maybe she gets a gift, or someone gives her a ticket or something and she goes. But it doesn't stop there. That's the problem. Because the next thing she wants to do is take pictures on private jets. Because you see, what happens is that the people, the viewers, start to say to her, oh, were your noodles, eat us. Were your plantain, fry us. We're going to worship you. Oh, here, all hail the queen. And it gets into her head, forgetting that these people have only just looked at their phones, seen something fancy, said whatever it is they've said, and moved on to the next. But she forfeits everything as a human being to get likes and pictures. Why? Because of the greed for attention. It could be a he. I just used the she. I can't say she, he. You know, it'll get a bit confusing. So, yeah, but you know, she forfeits everything. And this is what happens today. People will do any and everything to get likes on social media. People will do any and everything for fellow females or males to say, oh, you've arrived. They will do anything. Just the greed for more. When you can't use more than what is in front of you, you can't eat more than a plate of food, really. So that's greed. If we live simply, you will enjoy the best moments in life. If you hoard everything, nobody knows what can happen tomorrow. Nobody anticipated 2020. Now we're going into 2021. What legacy are you going to leave behind? What legacy are you putting forward? What will people say about you? Are you going to enjoy every minute? Because like myself and so many other people, we never anticipated it. It just happened. Now there's another lockdown. Nobody knows what's going to happen. So let's live simply. And that brings me to the third deadly sin, which is slothfulness. Oh, it goes hand in hand with greed. A little sleep, a little slumber. But I want to use the best of everything. And that's the song a lot of people are singing these days. Because the lifestyle they want to live can never measure up to the amount of work they can do. No. Everybody wants to fly private jets. Everybody at 16 wants to drive Rolls Royce. Really? What kind of work, what kind of labor are you planning to do that can measure up to buying Rolls Royce at what, on the 20, on the 30? I'm not saying people cannot be successful. There are some people that are doing it. They're successful enough to buy it, and all kudos to you. I'm talking to the people that are not the slothful ones, the lazy ones. Oh, I'm pretty. I'm just going to marry rich. I don't have to do anything. I can just do my body and suck out fat from my body and put it in my bum. And some from my brain too. Because that's low IQ energy. Because tell me, when you marry rich and look perfect, what happens? Because the only thing constant in life is change. So what happens when the money goes away? When the man does not have any money, or the woman does not have any money? Oh, I'm just going to work out and look buff and, snag a rich girl or a rich woman, and I don't have to do anything. So what happens when change happens and the money is not there anymore? Because like attracts like. So best believe whoever a slothful person is attracting has almost the same characteristics. And if the person happens to be working so hard, it's only a matter of time before that person realizes, I bring a lot to the table. What do you bring to the table, lazy? We can do better. We can try to be more responsible. We don't know what is going to happen. It's 2021. Let's just try to make the most of it. So this brings me to my next deadly sin, which is lust. Okay, so the thing about lust is that to understand lust, you have to understand worship. And I'm going to break it down like a 2-year-old. So lust is an intense desire. For the sake of younger viewers, I would use intimacy instead of sex. So lust is an intense desire, and then it leads to intimacy. Like I said, to fully understand lust, you need to understand what worship is. So what is worship? I love worship. I love praise and worship. Yeah, I do. Anyway, when you worship, you totally let go. You have to let go. You can't be singing praises or worshiping God and thinking about your bills at home and so you're just going through the motions for it to become worship, because you're supposed to worship in truth and in spirit. And to worship in truth, you have to totally let go of everything, even your thoughts, and focus your entire thought on God. That's worship. So what is intimacy? Like I said, I would use intimacy instead of sex for the benefit of the younger viewers. It's total letting go. It's pure ecstasy. At that point, you're not thinking of your views. You're not thinking of you are in accordance with the other person in totality. That's what it is. So now, lust. This brings me back to explaining lust properly. So now we understand what worship is. So lust can be likened to the Jezebel spirit, because the reason why it is because it's not love, it's just lust. And if anybody knows anything or has read anything about Jezebel in the Bible, she's a Phoenician princess that married Ahab the king, and she was just destructive, you know. But why she's likened to lust was because she kept trying. She brought in a false god to the palace where Yahweh, the Most High God, was worshipped, and Ahab didn't stop her. But and then for any of the prophets of God that didn't worship her false god Baal, they were killed. So at some point, she was to be killed as well. But what she did was she got all dressed up and tried to seduce her killer, which didn't work. But I mean, that's why Jezebel's spirit is actually likened to lust most of the time. Now, if you know anything about Jezebel, she's her own god. And when you've become a god unto yourself, you've made an idol of yourself. Now, for somebody, now Jezebel's spirit can be present in both men and women. So this is where lust becomes very dangerous. So you lust after, and then you fall into temptation with a Jezebel spirit. What you have done is actually worship the false idol. Exactly. Because Jezebel has no God. She's an idol. She has made an idol of herself. She's her own God. Intimacy with this sort of spirit is worshiping a false idol. So when certain things go wrong in our lives and we wonder what could be going wrong, and we go to church or whatever it is, or try to do deliverance or whatever it is, and they say, oh, don't worship any other false god, and you're like, no, I've not worshipped any other false god. I call on God every day. No, you have worshipped a false god, because you've come in contact and been intimate with a Jezebel spirit. And this is where it gets worse. For a man, and I've explained this in some of my other videos, your libido is your life force. So you know the Bible says when a man finds a wife, he finds a good thing. It's because you take your life force, you go out into the world. The man he's the giver, he's the doer in the relationship. So he goes out into the world and he fights, he battles the world, and he wants to come home and give his life force to a good person that would create. Women are the creators. They receive and then they create and nurture and create a home. So a man goes, he buys the house, a woman creates the home. That's how it works, you know. So he goes out into the big bad world and punches everybody and fights, and then comes back home to give his life force to who? Jezebel. What do you think she's going to do with it? So you have to be very careful. You have to be very careful with intimacy, because instead of creating and nurturing that life force, she will destroy it. That's what she's meant to do. She's destructive. She will destroy it all, kill everything. Now, on the flip side, so a woman, you're supposed to receive and then create and nurture. So if you're receiving from a Jezebel spirit, who is also a murderer, who is also, all sorts of negative things. What are you receiving onto yourself? If you receive from a murderer, you receive from somebody who is an abuser, you just realize that you're unable to create anything. And it's downright spiral from there. What are you taking into yourself? What are you nurturing? We have to be careful. When the Bible says these things are deadly, they really are deadly, because it's for our own good. So, without making it too long, let's go to envy. And this is how I like to look at envy. Low IQ. Oh yeah, definitely low IQ. Reprobate. Because when people are envious of you, it's because they want something you have. That's the truth. And envy is highly destructive because it brings about lies and it brings about gossip. An envious person is a liar. Reason being, they want to gossip about you. If it's the truth, it won't be called gossip. It's called gossip because it's lies. Who's the father of lies? The devil. I said in one of my videos that the devil is not going to come with horns, and it's that person next door. It's that friend. That envious person. It leads to hate, lies, gossip. And when they say no weapon, we have to pray. That prayer for me is one of the most important prayers. No weapon formed against us shall prosper. Because words are weapons, and they're much more destructive. Because if someone carries a gun and comes to shoot you, or carries a knife and stabs you, then you just die or you get hurt, and people actually feel sorry for you. But when someone makes up lies and slanders your name and lies about you and destroys your name, you end up getting isolated. You lose good opportunities. Because people that would have done something or offered you something great or done something great for you will turn around and think, oh, no, not this sort of person. So it actually kills you whilst you're still alive. So it's a more destructive weapon than an actual weapon. So my advice to anybody that is going through gossip, slander, lies, is don't react. Don't ever react, because once you do, you give it life. Ignore it and pray. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. Because trust me, whatever it is that is projected out there is coming back onto them. So don't give it life. Just give it enough time to turn around and come back onto them. Because it will. What does envy do? It denies uniqueness. If someone is envious of you, they can't have a personality of their own. They can have their own brand, so to speak. Because why? They're always in your shadow. They're always there stalking you and lurking around and trying to see what you're doing. And miss the point. That's why I call it low IQ. Because if anybody has, an envious person has a good amount of IQ, of sense, they won't be lurking around stalking another person just to gather information to spin around on them and gossip about them. Why would I want to be in someone else's shadow? Why would I want to be watching what someone else is doing 24/7 just so I can talk bad about them and gossip about them? And all the while, because time is something you can never get back. You can get money back, you can get clothes back, you can get opportunities back, but you can never get time back. So all that time being wasted on someone else's work, or someone else's life could be spent doing something productive. So what is the point? You can't even have a brand of your own. You can't be unique in your own right because you're busy. I'm not talking about, see, I have mentors. Oh, I have mentors. Right now in my life, I am celebrating the people I can learn from. That's what I want. I don't want reprobates in my life. I don't want envious people and distorted human beings in my life. No. If I give my attention to something, it's because I'm learning from it. That's all I want now. I'm growing. And I appreciate that. Because a year and a half ago, half the information I have today, I didn't even have it. But now I'm learning and I'm growing. And that's what I want. So when I look at some people or I listen to them or I watch them, it's because they're deserving of that attention. Because I'm learning something from them. So I'm constantly on listening to audiobooks. I'm constantly watching something on maybe a YouTube channel or even Instagram. Even comedians, some of them are so unique and amazing. But you see some other people watching them just to go and spin whatever it is, spin lies on them and spin stories on them. Why waste that time? I listen to people to even get more creative. Why waste that time that you can never get back? It's a total waste of time. It's low IQ energy. Very, very, very low vibration. Telling lies on people and slandering their names whilst you can be productive with your own time. It's just, it divides your attention. You don't have time for yourself. You're constantly looking at the person and looking at what they're doing, or what are they wearing, what are they doing, what are they writing, that's time you can never get back. And who knows, if you actually focus all that time on yourself in authenticity and be truthful for once, an envious person can actually maybe do a lot with themselves. Really. Moving on. Okay, so we're looking at wrath. This one's a trap. Wrath, anger, fury. Oh, that person has annoyed me so much, in trouble. You know, when I was young, I used to I'm like generally very soft and, you know, like give me like a whole basket of something heavy and I won't be able to carry it. I'll probably tell you that. But when I'm angry, I can lift up like 3 people at once. I'm exaggerating, yes, but I have this insane, or I used to have this insane temper. Like I would literally lift somebody up with a chair and fling them, and I will not know where that strength came from at that moment. But what always happens is that I've expended so much energy that I fall sick for like another week. What's the point? Anger opens doors to loss. Yeah. It's the way the enemy steals from you. If you realize that, you realize if you have a temper, it's something to really work on. It opens doors to loss. Why? Because sometimes when you're angry with someone, you can say things that the person will hold on to and will take you places. And believe me, once you've forgotten it, they happen. Most of the time. I'm a victim of this. That's why I can easily talk about it. And I'm working on it. I really am. You know, think about it. You're driving and you're feeling good with yourself and maybe you're going to work, or maybe you're not even going to work and you're just thinking, you know what, I have this whatever amount in my account, I'm just going to take a drive and just cool my head. And you're just going, and because you're not worried, you're in good feelings, good mood, good vibes, and you're just driving along and just, and someone comes at that moment, and for every time you're in that good spirit, you're actually manifesting, you're attracting more good things to yourself. And then watch, most of the time, it's that time someone will come and probably hit your car or hit your mirror or something and be extremely rude about it. They won't even stop. Sometimes you have to chase them down and get so angry and say things, and guess what? First of all, you've lost that manifestation time. Secondly, they're probably going to waste your time there the whole day. Thirdly, if you are going to work, you will get there late. When you get to work, you'll be so frazzled that that day is not productive. That's what anger does. It opens doors to loss all the time. I mean, I've been trying to work on this so badly, and I thought I was doing so well. But this week, something very, very funny happened. And I was driving. It wasn't so much a freeway, but I mean, it was one of those quite busy roads, but lots of cars, but like a freeway, so to speak. Not a street, like a freeway. Anyway, so as I was driving, I looked into my rearview mirror and I saw someone like literally holding onto my car, and I was driving. I was so freaked out. Like, I was so angry, and I was scared. I was more scared than angry because I wasn't sure. I didn't understand what was going on, and the person was trying to open the door to the back seat, and the person was trying to force it open. I didn't understand. I think I was trying to hold on to it, and I'm like, is he running after me? Or I didn't realize he was like a skater and was just playing pranks. I was so freaked out. So I tried slowing down, but every time I tried to slow down, he tried to open my door or something. So I tried speeding up, and I was thinking, this guy can't possibly be running after my car at such speed. So I would speed, I would move really fast, I would slow down, but I was so freaked out. And all the while, I had to keep my eyes on the road as well, so I don't hit the person in front of me. And then eventually he left my car alone. Oh my God. And see how the devil works, right? A normally very busy road, at that moment, the car in front of me was so far away and I couldn't even view any car behind me. So it was like a setup. That moment, I was left by myself to make a decision because it was reflex. I was so angry. It was from fear and anger. I didn't understand what it was. And I turned my car and drove right at him. And thank God he jumped on the curb. The moment he jumped on the curb, it was like a flash came through in my head, and I was like, oh my God, I'd have actually killed someone. Oh my God, that was so scary. But it was reflex. But who would I have explained to that it was reflex? Who would listen to me? That's anger. God forbid I'd run into him. I can't even begin to imagine what would have happened at the end of the year. I mean, I managed to escape COVID and everything to do with it, but managed to drive into a skater. Nobody would have listened to me. That was so scary. It's something we need to handle. And anger leads to unforgiveness. Oh, that person has offended me so much, I can never forgive them. You better forgive them. It's not for their own good, it's for your own good. It's definitely for your own good. Think about it this way. When a woman is praising her husband, or a child is praising his or her parents, they want to do more, right? Exactly. So, first of all, let me explain unforgiveness to you. Imagine you're going somewhere. Before I get to the other explanation, sorry. Imagine you're going somewhere, and as you're on your way, you see somebody that offends you, and then you hold onto their shirt and hold them down like you're not going to go. Whilst you hold them down, do you think you'll be able to get to where you're going? No. So unforgiveness does not permit you to go where you're going whilst you're holding the person down. So you have to let it go. You have to let them go. Now, back to my other example. When a woman is praising her husband, he wants to do more. When a child is praising his or her parents, they want to do more. So even the Bible says that when you bring your gifts and your thanksgiving unto me, but you have issues with your brother, go and settle it. Why? Because in your moment of dancing and praising God and bringing gifts, God is thinking, I made you a manager. I like the way you're praising me like David. Let me make you a director. So he wants to hold your hand and take you higher. But you're holding someone down. So you can't go anywhere. That's why God says, go back and make amends with your brother or your sister or your friend or whoever it is you're not forgiving. Forgiving somebody does not mean they have to be in your space. You can forgive them and let them go. If you feel they deserve a second chance, bring them into your space. That's okay. But forgive for your own good, so you can get to your destination. You can walk in purpose. You can go to where God wants to take you to. So go and release that person so I can hold your hand and take you where I want to take you. Moving on. Gluttony. It's also a Latin word for gulp down, right? So this is the last one, and I'm going to be very quick with it. I always feel like gluttony sometimes is a cover for an underlying issue. Like when people just eat. And it might not just be food. It might be drinks. It might be just excessive stuff. We all have our addictions. I mean, mine is caffeine. There was a time I literally, if I haven't had a cup of caffeine, like coffee in the morning, I can't function. And I would say to anybody, I can't function. I need my coffee. So I would take coffee when people complain, oh, you've had like 3 cups of coffee. I'm like, oh, okay. So I do cold coffee. I do frappuccino. I do latte. I do cold coffee. However way I can have caffeine, I will do it. Which is so wrong. I mean, it's bad for my health, right? A classic example is a young lady that I talked to, and for the longest time she didn't have a job, and so she got a job, well paid and everything, and then she came to see me one day and we're having a conversation, and she said, just trying to let me know that, oh wow, I'm doing so well now, I've arrived kind of thing. So she goes to me, well, yesterday I had I had five eggs. I had like 5 eggs. I mean, I'm just enjoying myself, I had like 2 in the morning, 3 in the evening. So I'm like, basically, you were trying to commit suicide. She said, no, I was trying to are you joking? I had like 5 eggs and everything. I said, yeah, because you're shooting up your cholesterol, so you were trying to commit suicide. She goes, no. I said, yeah, you were. Because whilst you think it's enjoyment to eat 5 eggs in one day, you're killing yourself. Like I said before, you can't eat more than a plate of food. Why not keep it healthy? What's the point? Just have one life to live. We might as well take care of it. I wish you a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful 2021. I love you all. See you next year. Bye.